All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Bourbon Bar. I'm Holden, and today we're going to be trying this again. It'll be a blind flight of Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. And what we got tonight is batch C921, batch A122, and a single barrel from the wine cellar in De Pere. So, that being said, I did do this same stream previously, about 2 weeks ago, I believe. The power went out right in the middle of it, so I had to. I had started off the stream with doing a live tasting of the um, my wine cellar batch, which was phenomenal. And for those of you who are looking for another review of that, I'm not going to do that at the beginning tonight, but I will go ahead and tell you that lots of honey notes, like graham crackers, or maybe like honey graham or the honeycomb cereal, very honeycomb cereal, some vanilla sweetness, caramel, lots of oak presence, high proof. That bottle comes in at 132 proof, so it's definitely nothing to sneeze at. But overall, it was really good whiskey, and I really liked it, which means it'll be a very interesting battle between these three bottles tonight, because I really think that they're going to hold their own. The store pick is only 8 years old, but it is 132 proof, so it does have a little bit of an edge on the other two bottles. But the other two bottles are their batched releases, so they are tasted and blended by a master distiller, and they're going to be consistently, purposefully at that flavor. So, yeah, that being said, welcome to it. Everybody in the chat, let me know what's up. Let me know what you guys are drinking. Sugar Kitty is here. Hey, Sugar Kitty, how you doing? I did just send you an email. I sent out your box of stuff, so you should be seeing it on Monday. What are you drinking? Let me know in the chat. But that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and start pouring all of these. So batch C921 is going to be going into glass A. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah. So batch C921 will be in glass A. For those of you who don't know, batch C921 is 120.2 proof. So it is one of the lower proof ECBPs compared to releases that they had back in the day. But still very, very good whiskey. In glass 2 will be batch A122. That'll be glass B. So A122 is 120.8 proof, so only 0.6 proof points higher than batch C921. A122 I got right in the beginning of January, right when it came out, and I haven't drank a whole lot of it, but it's getting further and further down there. I think the one I drink the most is C921, but I think that's mainly because I have 2 bottles of it, and I haven't even opened the second one yet. So, Bailey, welcome to it. How's it going? Doom 0512, bark bark. Oh my, don't scare away Sugar Kitty, because too much barking, he might go back into his little home. Mine goes out tomorrow, although the label is already created, tracking sent. Yes, I did see that. Thank you. That'll be good. So I've got some samples coming from Sugar Kitty that I'll be able to get some reviews out to you guys and maybe taste on a live stream or something. So glass letter C is going to be the store pick from the wine cellar in De Pere, Wisconsin. 8 years old, 132.7 proof. And for those of you who don't know, the two mainstays of Elijah Craig are 12-year-old whiskeys, minimum 12 years. So I'm going to go ahead and mix these up right away. So I don't know which is which, but we'll just remember that they are in chronological order from when they came out or when I got them. So ASC 921, B is A122, and C will be the store pick from the wine cellar in De Pere. So without looking, I'm just gonna kind of mash these all together, try not to spill any on the floor. Barca, really trying to scare away Sugar Kitty in the chat here. I don't know what did Sugar Kitty did to you, but I'll take whatever chats are in there. Doom0512. Do I know you? Is that Abdil? Are you watching? Because if you are, that would make sense. You're goofy like that. Sugar Kitty says cats are overlords of the known universe. Had to have a bit more than just a little barking. Good point. Dogs serve humans and humans serve cats. So, yeah, really humans are just cats' bitches. I mean, we feed them, pet them, house them, give them everything they need, and then they just do whatever they want. And by they, I mean you. But that's not a bad thing. I'm not judging Sugar Kitty. I mean, you're really playing everyone um, in a good way. So you get the better end of the deal. Green bean casserole, very random. Sounds like someone I know. Anyway, no, humans still serve dogs. Humans serve dogs, but lesser than they serve cat. I guess uh, cats. Humans serve dogs, yes, but dogs also serve humans. They protect humans. They are like best friends with humans. They play with humans. I mean, they do a lot of different things with humans. As much as we serve them, they're serving us just as much. But for cats, it's more of like a one-sided debate. You know, we serve cats, and then they kind of lick their balls and run around and sometimes claw your face off if you try to hold them for too long. But dogs usually are up for more cuddles and that kind of stuff. They keep coming back and they keep loving you. Whereas I don't feel that kind of warmth from a cat. But hey, you know, every cat's different too. I have seen some cats that behave more like dogs. So green bean casserole scares you. Yeah, I never used to like green beans, but green bean casserole is not something that I really have eaten a lot of. I think I tried it once when I was a little kid, didn't love it, and I think I might have tried it another time, and it was okay. But like, I've never been. If I had a lineup of vegetables, green beans would not be the first one that I was picking, especially if it was covered in um, a white pasty sauce. I don't like any of my things that I'm eating covered in a white pasty sauce. Brings back some very vivid memories. Just kidding. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get into this blind here. I'm gonna start with we're gonna call these 1, 2, and 3 instead of A, B, and C because I don't know what letters they actually are. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3. Then we're gonna take a small break, sip some water, just talk, whatever. And we're gonna come back 3, 2, 1. And then I'm gonna decide which one is my favorite out of these so far. And it should be interesting because, like I said, I've drank C921 the most. I've drank A122 the second most, and the store pick I had just recently got. But I have put a pretty good sized dent into it because it is really good. I really like the tasting notes on that store pick. But we're gonna go ahead and start with glass number 1 on the nose here. Right away, I'm getting some darker notes, almost like a chocolate peanut. The proof is there, but I mean, these are all pretty proofy whiskeys, so it could just be the sensitivity of the first whiskey of the night. But overall, really pleasant. Lots of oak present there. It doesn't smell super sweet, not like aggressively sweet by any means. Okay, so palate, nice and silky smooth on the tongue. Great mouthfeel. It's got some caramel and oak notes right away. It's some a heavier char in there. Really, really nice and delicious. Not a whole lot of fruitness going on. Maybe like a black cherry or like a Luxardo cherry, but very mild way down in the glass. Not something I'm getting a whole lot of. Overall, it's really nice. I like that one a lot. Cream of mushroom soup that was invented by a Saint Bernard. Inquiring minds. Huh. That's interesting. Um, I'm a bit lost on the Saint Bernard part of it, but yeah, I never liked mushrooms either, and so green beans my least favorite, one of my least favorite vegetables, mixed with mushrooms, which I don't like, and a cream-based sauce just isn't something that is my forte. Americans eat more than 1 billion bowls of soup each year. That's an interesting fact. I did not know that we consumed that much soup, but I do contribute. Unless, is chili considered soup? I eat chili 6 days a week, sometimes twice a day. I, I eat the same thing every single day, so it's not surprising that I eat that much chili. But I always kind of had chili and soup in somewhat of the same category, mainly because it's like a soupy half liquid with a bunch of like meaty vegetables in it and that kind of stuff. So, but my chili is really good. Talk about chili. I make like a giant pot of it every weekend, and it's usually just like feeding me for a long time. And then whenever I run out, make a new pot. Hagen AZ, welcome to it. How are you doing tonight? If it was invented by a Saint Bernard, it's probably evil. Yeah, well, Saint Bernards are. I don't even know if I've met a Saint Bernard, but Seth is having chili now. Hey Seth, how's it going? What are you drinking tonight? Having a bush? What the fuck? um, if chili that is soupy, something went wrong. Well, okay, I shouldn't say it's soupy. I mean, you have to add water to chili to make it chili, but it's more like I don't. I guess I don't know. I don't know what it is, what the difference is, but I mean, technically, if you have chili and if you eat all the hard stuff first, the meat and the vegetables and that stuff, you are left with like some kind of soup, like eness, I guess. My chili is, I have like a really thick chili, so it's more like I just don't know what else to call it, honestly. I mean, it's not like a jambalaya, but like it's not. It doesn't have a broth. Well, it kind of has a broth. I don't know. This is a lot of chili talk, uh, for right now. Um, hit me up with the chili recipe. I don't even know who you are. What's your name? Doom0512. Because I can't keep calling you Doom0512 all night because I'll get confused. I think some other people will too. Need some hatch chills in your chili. Hatch chili in your chili. Well, I don't know about that. I am not a fan of spice or spiciness, I should say. Unless it's in whiskey. I like spiciness in my whiskey. But I'm kind of a big pussy when it comes to spicy foods. I'm not, honestly, I don't even eat jalapenos. Like, I don't know if hatch chilies are spicy or if they're just delicious, but I don't even like peppers, to be honest. Red peppers I think are okay. I don't know if I eat like yellow or green or orange peppers. I haven't eaten them in probably 10 years, because the one time I tried them as a kid, it just, and every time I smell them, not my forte, not something that I enjoy. But I guess they're not horrible. Bailey's having wings and drowning himself in Budweiser later at Schmitty's Or House. Okay. Well, Budweiser's, you know, it'll do the job. It's no amazing beer. I've been drinking a lot of beer recently, and it's all craft. It's all like thick. A lot of it is bourbon barrel aged. A lot of it's stouts and porters. So I don't do a lot of the light beers. I don't do a lot of like just the mainstays like Miller or Budweiser or anything like that. So I actually don't even know if I've had like a normal Budweiser. I've had Bud Light, but I don't know if I've had a normal Budweiser. Only weak-minded people eat regular chili. My chili is healthy chili. My chili is 90% chili and then 10% zucchini noodles because I'm constantly dying. I'm constantly dieting, which dying, same thing. For my entire life, I'm in a constant state of dieting. So that's how I keep all the whiskey weight off. Otherwise, who knows how big I'd be. But anyway, glass number one. Like I said, a little bit darker, some peanut dust, a little less sweet than I would think, but it's the first glass of the night, so we're gonna go ahead and see if that changes later on down the line. Okay, number two. Number two, I am getting a little bit more honey on this one. A little bit more sweetness, almost like a vanilla frosting, like a glaze maybe, or even a honey bun. A honey bun without just like a generic honey bun, like freshly made from a bakery. Not a whole lot of super bready notes on it, but there is like um, some kind of spice in there too. I'm gonna go ahead and get it on the palate though. Hmm. Okay, that's interesting. The palate has some really sweet spices on there, maybe like a nutmeg in there, along with that honey note that really comes. It follows through on the palate, right on the front of the tongue. As soon as it hit the tongue, it was really sweet. It almost had like a, I don't want to say multi characteristic, but a characteristic that I find when I'm drinking like Glenmorangie or something along those lines, which I know is a super honey flavored scotch. But yeah, this one's really nice. It doesn't drink all. It didn't seem like it drank all that hot, so I don't know how the proof is looking on this one. But if I was guessing one of them, this one definitely has the most honey compared between one and two so far. But overall, smells really nice. Hanging AC says, but regular is okay when it's 115 degrees outside. Bud regular is okay when it's 115 degrees outside. Yeah, well, I just a beer doesn't really do it on the palate for me, I guess. And I'm usually in Wisconsin, so 115 degrees isn't much of a option for us up here. But I could understand why you would want something light and refreshing like that. I'm more of a water guy if I'm drinking to get refreshed. If I'm drinking beer, it's usually got to be some good stuff. I never liked beer growing up, but I do now, but it's all craft beer. I still can't get behind a lot of the main, like, whatever. But it's also nice being in Wisconsin. I don't know how it is over in Arizona. Um, but in Wisconsin, I mean, if you throw a rock, you're gonna hit a brewery, and I mean, each brewery has like 50 different kind of beers for you to try. And as soon as you try all 50 of those, hop down to the next one, try another 50 beers. It's just like there's unlimited options to choose from in Wisconsin, and they're all really, really good. I mean, we have some really good beer up here in Wisconsin, so it's hard for me to go back to drinking light beers after being exposed to something as good as craft beers. How do you feel about gazpacho? I don't know who gazpacho is or what gazpacho is. Wow, I need a barrel proof EC. Regular EC is just okay to me. You've never had an ECBP? That's interesting. Huh. Yeah, no, ECBPs are probably, I don't know um, how allocated they are down in Arizona, but I mean, they're pretty not readily available, but every time the release comes out, they're usually available for about a week up here in Wisconsin if you get to the store in time. Um, but yeah, I mean, they're like most people compare them to Stag. Understandably, I've never had Stag, so I couldn't compare it to Stag. But most people, it's just there's a lot going on with the ECBPs. There's a lot of notes in there, really great mouth feels, a lot of proof that comes with it. Really, just good sipping whiskey, and it's just nice and complex, and something that you can actually sit down and pick your pick apart in the glass. So I personally love ECBPs, but gazpacho is so cold. I have the chilies in my soup. I'd rather have chilies in my soup than tomatoes. Yeah, I hate tomatoes. Or I used to hate tomatoes. I don't eat a lot of tomatoes. I do put them in my chili, but that's because they're so small, they're insignificant when they're mixed with everything else. So, yeah. Staple beer in Wisconsin. Oh boy, you're gonna start a war with that question. I would say if you're from the country like I am, um, the most of the high schoolers or early college students are drinking uh, Bud Light or Busch Light. Sorry, Busch Light or Miller Light, I would say. Miller's a Wisconsin beer. A lot of people up here, I mean, on the cheap end of things, it's honestly a horse apiece. Miller Light, Bud Light, Busch Light, even PBR, Pabst Blue Ribbon. A lot of people drink that up here. Coors, I think some people drink Coors still. Otherwise, some people drink like Natural Lights or Natter Days, which is like a lemonade beer, which is interesting. But otherwise, I would say a lot of people up here just drink normal Miller because I think it's kind of like Miller Park, like it's kind of just that beer that's Wisconsin and like 100% Wisconsin. But I think Budweiser's Wisconsin too, maybe. I'm honestly not entirely sure for small brand. All I know is that when it comes to like what you can always find Miller. But there is they make something called New Glarus Spotted Cow, and a lot of people in Wisconsin love Spotted Cow. Or Leinenkugel. I don't know if you've heard of Leinenkugel, but I think that's another Wisconsin one. So a lot of popular beers coming from Wisconsin. I've never been to a lot of other states, especially when I was drinking beer. So I don't know how other states are with their beer. I just know that Wisconsin has every option that you can ever think of. I mean, if you run out of beers to drink in Wisconsin, then you're not trying hard enough because, like I said, it's abundant up here. The ECBP is so much better than the small batch, but batches vary and some are much better than others. Yeah, so the only two ECBP batches I've had that are batched are the C921 and the A122, and they're two drastically different whiskeys. C921 has always been a lot more chocolatey, peanut butter, almost like a peanut dust, super oaky, dark, but sweet, and like still like good, but very dark notes, while the A122 is very straight Heaven Hill profile, red fruit and peanut dust and caramel with some oak in the back. And, so they're just two completely. And then the store pick, like I said, has a lot of honey on it. So they vary a lot. I haven't had a bad one yet, but like I said, I've only had two. And some people hated the C921. I just personally thought it was great. I don't see a ton of them. Yeah, well, it doesn't help that a lot of places will raise the price on them. They used to be $80 or so. 80. Well, they used to be like $70, which is what I was getting these for. But I mean, places are bumping them up to 85, 90, even $100 for a bottle, which is a whiskey worth it. Usually, yeah. I mean, it's good whiskey. It hits just as high as those other expensive bottles, but do you really want to be paying $100 for something that other people are paying $70 for? I guess it's personal preference. ECBP is a complex like Stag Junior, both high proof, but the profiles are completely different. Yeah, so I always kind of pictured Stag Junior to be more of a very high proof Buffalo Trace, which I mean, it is. But I always kind of pictured more like vanilla, strawberry, like less oak, more like sweet candy fruit and like floral vanilla and like that kind of stuff. While Elijah Craig is a lot more of like that oak and caramel and a little bit of nuttiness in it. So with a little bit of fruit, not like overly abundant on the fruit, maybe some like leather notes or some tobacco, depending on the batches that you get. So I'd say quality of the whiskey similar, but you're right. ECBP and Stag Junior probably don't taste anything alike. So I would be on the lookout for the Larceny Barrel Proof first. Yes, so that unfortunately is a hard one to find. The only Larceny Barrel Proof I have is the C921, and I overpaid for it a lot. I mean, I did pay $100 for it, which it is what it is. I really wanted it. It was my first Larceny Barrel Proof, and it was the only one I've ever seen in my life so far in person. But it's phenomenal. I mean, it smacked the expectations out of the park. I don't regret it at all. I haven't drank it much because I don't want it to be gone, but I've been consistently searching for the next batch to come out, and I've seen just recently, just this week, I've seen a lot of Wisconsin people getting the A122 batch of Larceny Barrel Proof. So I've been on the lookout for that. Samples are possible. Bud is originally from St. Louis. Okay, that makes sense. Sugar Kitty worked in Racine for a bit, but they were all drinking New Glarus of one form or another. Oh, really? Where? Oh, you said you're in New Jersey. I think you said, right? And wow, so you worked in Racine. Interesting. Small world. Yeah, New Glarus. I mean, everyone loves Spotted Cow. I haven't met a single Wisconsinite who hasn't drank with Spotted Cow before, but Line Kugel is good. Was not sure if it was from Minnesota. It could be. I'm not sure. Chippewa Falls, they're shandy. Yes, summer shandy is good. I like summer shandy. And Chippewa Falls, yeah, that's an hour from me. Not even, maybe an hour or two from where I am. Stag Junior is vanilla cherry Coke bomb. It sounds phenomenal. I wish I ever could find one. My buddy grew up in Racine. Loved that Kringle pastry. Oh my gosh, Uncle Mike's has like an amazing Kringle, but they have great donuts too, honestly. But I know that Uncle Mike's is like known for their award-winning Kringle. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, but I'm pretty sure Uncle Mike's is in Racine. I don't entirely know for sure. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but there's Uncle Mike's in Green Bay and in like Swamico, and their whole shtick is like number one Kringle in the U.S. or something. I don't know, award-winning Kringle in the U.S. or something like that. So. Um, we got ECBP all the time, but Larceny Barrel Proof I've only seen once. Yes, like I said, Larceny Barrel Proof much harder to find, but it's worth it, honestly. If you find it and it's just a little bit overpriced, I would still buy it. It's good. I like it a lot. The only barrel proof he has right now is Rare Breed. Well, at least you have a good one because it's not overly expensive. Rare Breed isn't, but it's like really good. I don't drink mine a lot. I have it up there. I don't drink it a lot only because I have a lot of other options to choose from. But if I was more of an average, like just someone who just drinks it for fun, I would definitely be going along the lines of Rare Breed because bang for buck, you can't go wrong with it. I'm in New Jersey, but I'm a consultant, so I've done gigs all over. Okay, so well traveled. That's awesome. O&H is one of the biggest ones. Sure, they're all good. Yeah. So, all right, let's go ahead and get into glass number 3. So, okay. Wow, that one. I guess it took a small break since I was drinking. Seth says you're thinking O&H and we're seeing. Okay. I've never had their Kringle, but I'm sure it's phenomenal. Rare Breed and 1792 Full Proof are the easy high proof bottles to get. Yeah, I agree. Lauren says that's where Jordan's Kringle. Oh, well then I have had O&H Kringle because I was down there on Saturday and we went to a wedding party or a wedding shower or something. Me and my fiance Lauren. And the people hosting the party had Kringle there, and it was apparently from O&H, it was really really good. So I can confidently say that I have had it, and it's phenomenal. I am most happiest around 100 proof. Yeah, so I agree. I don't need all these high proofs, and honestly, like they're good, but for something that I'd want to just sit down and enjoy, I would be closer to that 100 proof too. I think my ideal proof is around 110, 115 but I like the barrel proof because it usually has a little bit better mouthfeel and a lot more. I just like, and it doesn't seem so watered down. I mean, and some bottled and bonds are really good at that, not feeling watered down. But I know barrel proofs tend to have a lot more of like a rich feeling when you're drinking them, which I really like. So. Okay, so glass number 3. A lot more peanut dust on this one. Sweetness, like a fruity sweetness. I want to say there's some raspberries in there. Interesting. Maybe like a dark cherry note again. Lots of proof coming through on the nose with this one, I think. Hard to say. Does smell sweet though. Definitely smells. Number one so far has been the least amount of sweetness. Between these two, I'm not sure yet, but I'm gonna get this one on the palate. So okay, that just hit me with that was really good. That just hit me with a super sweet caramely note with a little bit of a hint of tobacco mix in there, and uh, nice proof and a bit spicy. Yeah. So there is a little bit of a sweet tobacco in the back end of that one. The proof is going down like nice Kentucky hug on the way down to this one. It is sweet though. It's still like kind of got fruity sweetness to it. But overall, that one's really good. They get the O&H Kringles here at Trader Joe's around the holidays, but just have the almond flavored ones. Ew. You don't like almond flavor? Oh man, I love almond flavor. Blue Moon ice cream, phenomenal. Amaretto in cocktails or even shots of amaretto, awesome. Almond butter is also great. I drink almond milk all the time. I guess almond is probably one of the best kind of nuts. At least the best kind of nuts that I put in my mouth. So, um, yeah, that's a shame that you don't like almond, but uh, yeah, I mean, come visit up in Wisconsin. Come get some for yourself. Okay, so far I'm feeling some kind of way about number two. Glass number two seems to be kind of getting in the lead here, but glass number three is nothing to sneer at. It definitely has a lot going on. I almost get like a little bit of a cola note, like a cherry cola here on the nose. Cherry cola, some oak. I'm not quite getting the tobacco that I'm getting on the palate here, but I am getting like maybe like a sweet caramel, a caramel vanilla. All right. And before I go back through the other way, I'm just gonna have some water here. Got to stay hydrated. Same water glass I had last time. Shout out to Tipsy Whiskey Shenanigans. They do good stuff over there at their channel, so check them out if you can. Love a sweet tobacco note. Yeah, me too. Sweet tobacco is the best. It kind of comes through in there when you have like a good amount of age and a good amount of not overabundant sweetness. Which is what I really like. Is like I like something sweet, but I also like it to have like some nice earthy, meaty like tobacco or leather notes in there as well. Just kind of well rounded, well versed, are awesome. The raspberry Kringles are your favorite. Yeah, raspberries. I think. I mean, if we're just talking about fruit in general, the flavor of fruit and like fruit flavored things, I would say that raspberry is one of my favorite fruits ever, if not my favorite. I eat the most strawberries only because they have the lowest amount of calories. Sounds pathetic, I know, but honestly, I do eat a lot of strawberries. But raspberries are a S tier fruit. I love raspberry and Danish. Oh, that too. Raspberry Danishes. Even uh I'm a donut guy, a huge donut guy. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Chicago, but Stan's Donuts in Chicago, best donuts in the world. But if you ever get like a powdered sugar donut, just a plain powdered sugar donut, and have raspberry filling in it, you got the raspberry seeds, a nice tart raspberry whatever filling in there, in a just a powdered donut, or what are those things they sell during? Not Mardi Gras, but is it Mardi Gras? They have patchkis. Patchkis. They're like a powdered donut that's filled with like some kind of jam or Bavarian cream or that kind of stuff. Love that stuff. Awesome, especially the raspberry ones are awesome. They're good guys, but Alex says herbaceous too much. Yes, Alex does say herbaceous too much, but you know, herbaceous. They drink a lot of rye over there at that channel, so um, they're getting a lot of herbaceous notes. But anyway, all right. One more sip of water. I'm gonna go back through the other way, starting at glass number 3. So far, I'm looking at number 2 as a highest contender. I think number 3 is going to be in second place, and number 1 is in last place. But it's going to change. It's going to taste different and change on the way back through. So we're going to go ahead and start on glass 3 now and work our way back to glass number 1. That sweet caramel note definitely coming through after a small break there. It's definitely oaky, but not like a oak tannin or oak spiciness. More like a sweet oak. This one, it's interesting because it does have a lot of that sweet notes, but it's like a not like a dark sweet, but like the oak is sweet, the tobacco is sweet. It's got a little bit of like a peanut dust in there too, but it does come off as like more of a sweeter sipper. Okay. I'm gonna have to go and get on that. I think I got something a little weird on that one. I almost want to say there's like a slight citrus zest in this one on the palate, like orange rind or like an orange zest, just slightly, just slightly. Maybe if someone just squeezed the smallest bit of orange peel over the top, just get a little bit of that orange oils in there. But yeah, a little bit of some kind of orange zestiness, or maybe like a grapefruit zest or a grapefruit rind in there. Definitely plays well with that sweet tobacco note that I was getting earlier. It's just a lot going on in these whiskeys, which is one of the reasons why everyone loves them so much. Okay, that one's pretty good. It's got a lot going on. Very well rounded. Hanging AZ says maple donuts with bacon topping. Yes, maple bacon donuts. You know, I've had ample opportunities to eat maple bacon donuts, and I never have. I've had a maple bar, but I've never had just a maple bacon donut. And I've always wanted one because I love bacon. I put maple syrup on my bacon not every time I eat it, but like I was one of those kids who I had pancakes, eggs, sausage, and bacon all on my plate, and it all got covered in syrup. Even my eggs, even my sausage and bacon is all just syrup infused, and it was phenomenal. And I still kind of eat like that, even though I'm a grown adult. So, you know, growing up, there was a local donut shop with the best raspberry jelly filled. Yeah, raspberry jelly filled donuts are the best, honestly. Patchki, pronounced punchki. Oh, punchki or punchki are Polish donuts often eaten before Lent, i.e., Mardi Gras. Yes, it was Mardi Gras then. So yeah, I had patchkis or punchkis. You're saying I've had punchkis just this past year, before Lent started. Those are so good. The raspberry ones or lemon filled ones are awesome. Us Germans have fast knots before Mardi Gras. Fast knots. Fast knots. I don't know how to pronounce that, but I also don't know what that is. So feel free to inform me because that's interesting. If it's some kind of breakfast pastry, I'm sure I'm gonna be on board with it because I love breakfast. We have a bunch of Vietnamese boba tea and donut shops around here for some reason. Those dudes know how to make a donut. Boba tea and donuts. I've seen boba on donuts. I've seen boba on cookies, but I don't think there's a whole lot of boba shops up here in Wisconsin. I know my girlfriend's brother, my fiance's brother, goes and gets boba a lot. Um, but I don't know where they're getting it. It might be down in Appleton, which is like 45 minutes away from here. So I don't know if there's one in Green Bay or not. Um, but I don't. I've had boba once. It was okay. I'm not like obsessed with it, but I do believe that they would make good donuts. It just seems like something that they would do. So all right, working our way back through glass number 2. I'm gonna go ahead and start getting glass number 2 on the nose here and splashing myself with it. Oh, that's nice. Okay, apparently there's a lot of boba places in Green Bay. My bad. Thai tea with boba is awesome. So I've never had Thai tea. Um, Honestly, I don't drink a lot of tea, which is surprising because I know I'm more of a coffee guy. So people who drink whiskey are usually coffee or tea. I'm more of coffee than I am of tea. I've had some tea, but not a lot. I've never had Thai tea. So fast knots, fast knots pronounced fast knocks. That would make sense. Fast knocks. It's a donut, very sweet, often sugar covered. Sugar covered donuts. You're talking my language right now. You really are. Speaking of sugar covered, this smells sugar covered. It's got like a confectioner sugar sweetness. That honey is there. I mean, this has got to be pretty close to that store pick. This is really, really, really good one. Just a super sweet honey note. It's like honeycomb, the honeycomb cereal, which I freaking love that cereal. That cereal is phenomenal. I love cereal too in general, but the honeycomb note is really, really, really nice. I'm not usually a big fan of honey. I never put honey on everything as a kid, but like honey flavored things, phenomenal. But yeah, behind that honey is just a little bit of a sweet oak. There's a little bit of a fruit going on, maybe something a little bit lighter. I'd say closer to like a pear or like something not aggressive. It definitely doesn't come through past that like honey too much, but it is like a honey pear if I were to compare it to something. Biking Bourbon, welcome to it. How's it going tonight? Um, Thai tea is spicy and creamy. It is soaked in vanilla and then they add coconut milk to it. Well, that sounds awesome. Biking Bourbon, are you pedal bike or motorcycle bike? Did I ask that last time? I can't remember if I asked that already. I do a little bit of both, but I'm more of a motorcycle guy. But I think I might have asked that already. But I forgot, and I'm sorry. Okay, so really good, really sweet on the front of the palate here. Um, I'm still getting that like sweet cinnamon, like a cinnamon roll, or like how like some honey buns have like it's like a cinnamon roll honey bun, that's got like the cinnamon swirl in it. I really like that on the palate. Um, Really interesting. It's not quite as complex as the palette of number 3, but it is. It almost fits my fancy more. I would say the nose on this one is by far the best, hands down. This one smells like honeycomb cereal, and I love honeycombs. At least the smell of them. I mean, it's bringing back childhood memories that I didn't know I had. So it smells phenomenal. It's got that honeycomb, sweet oak, vanilla, almost like a confectioner sugar, light fruit, like maybe a pear. And on the palate, lots of that honey, maybe some caramel right at first on the center of your tongue, Follows through with a little bit of like a sweet cinnamon oak spice. Definitely warm on the way down. I'm still kind of feeling it right now. Overall, really nice. Get a little bit of water before going into glass number 1. So this is probably where I'm going to see the most change, if I was guessing. Going from the first whiskey of the night and just a fresh nose, a fresh palate, and drinking it compared to going all the way through and all the way back 40 minutes later. Number 1 should change, or at least open up and be a little bit different or more seeable to me the second time around. So that one might change the most. And right now, I think that one's in last place. I think it's going 2, 3, 1 so far, but we have to go back to number 1 in order to figure out where it's going to finally land. Weird. I like it, and I usually hate things with coconut milk. I've drank milk from a coconut, straight from a coconut, but I've never had like, I don't think I've ever had like a carton of coconut milk before. But I'm sure I'd like it. I like coconuts. So, did you have a Winchel's donut chain when you were growing up? He's asking Sugar Kitty that. Short ride today on his 29er. Sugar Kitty says he grew up in New York State. None of those around. Nice. I ride a single speed 29er, mostly canals. So they must be talking about pedal bikes, which I don't do a lot of. I do some. It's kind of pedal biking is my favorite form of cardio, I believe. But it's not. It's not like a motorcycle. So motorcycles, I definitely could talk a little bit more about than pedal biking. But yeah. All right, let's move on and finish her out on glass numero uno. If this one I remember correctly was a little bit darker than the rest of them, probably falling closer to that C921 palette that I know and love so much. Although right now it's in last place, so who knows if I actually really love it that much. But we're gonna go ahead and get on the nose. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's definitely got some chocolate going on. Definitely some chocolate like cocoa powder. A sweet oak. Sweet oak, a little bit of caramel. It's got some spice in there. Some maybe like nutmeg. Definitely a nutty flavor to it, almost like a peanut butter. It smells rich. It almost smells like something you would get from a not a Knob Creek, but maybe like a higher proof Knob Creek, or just a Beam profile in general. It's got that like nutty like note in it, but like the good kind of nutty note that I really like. I know a lot of people aren't huge fans of the nut note, but I personally, if it's like peanut dust or peanut butter, just stuff like that, I tend to enjoy it. But yeah, that chocolatey cocoa powder is coming through a lot here on the nose. It smells very rich. It smells very like dense and heavy. So much more tannic, spice, oak spice. Almost dries out your mouth just a little bit. But I kind of like that. Is that weird? Gosh, that's hard. I mean, I'm gonna honestly be really surprised and let down by my abilities if this isn't C921, because this is drastically different than those two whiskeys. I mean, those two are much closer in comparison to each other, but this one stands out a lot compared to all of it. I do like it though. It's just hard. It's hard to say what you like better about things when they're not the same palette, because it's easy to say, "Oh, out of these 5 apples, I like this apple the most because they're all apples." But if you're comparing an apple, a banana, a pear, it's just like depending on what you're in the mood for, you're gonna grab for the different thing, no matter which one's your favorite. So it's always hard when you have a different palette of whiskey and you're comparing them against each other in a head to head. But this one it's so good. It's so like desserty and like chocolate brownie, like a fresh chocolate peanut butter brownie with a caramel drizzle over the top of it. Shit. This is why it's so hard, because all these ECBPs are phenomenal whiskeys and I love them a lot, but just picking one is difficult. All right. Yeah. It does have a little bit of that like dark tobacco-y note in there, but I want to say almost like it's got a leathery note in that one, just on the back end of the palate there. Definitely getting some like tobacco-y leather, which is a welcome sight. So now it's time for the conclusion of which one of these I'm liking the most here. Before I do that, I'm gonna keep going through these chats here, because once I get to that, I'm gonna go head to head and basically go all the way until I pick a winner. So let's see. Talking about bike rides and then coconut milk. I don't like dried coconut milk, but the milk in Thai food is in all the curries. The milk in Thai food and all the curries is awesome. Is coconut milk sweet like coconuts, or does it taste like coconuts? Young coconut milk, fresh out of the shell, is pretty good. I like a peanut note. Yeah, me too. Peanut notes. A lot of people are hit or miss. Young peanut notes. I mean, you don't want a young peanut note. That's not really welcome in the bourbon community, but a good like peanut buttery, peanut dust kind of peanut note, I really tend to like. I get more of a walnut on Heaven Hill products than a peanut, like either Beam or Wild Turkey. Yeah, I guess now that you say it, more like a walnut would be accurate for like those two. I guess what I'm calling peanut dust could also be like a walnut, but this one in particular, it definitely seems more like peanut buttery. It's like a more of like a rich, aggressive, peanutty flavor, I guess. So while like a walnut, I think is more of like a fatty nut or like a, I don't know. It's hard to. I don't eat a lot of nuts because like everything else, they're way too high in calories for me to just consume. But I do recall what walnuts taste like for the most part. So, oh, never mind. They are only in Nevada and California now. I really like the Eagle Rare Grapey. Never got that in other bourbons. I agree. That is something I said in my Eagle Rare review video. Is I love that like artificial grape, like grape soda. And Eagle Rare has such like there's like a cola, like a dark cola, and maybe like a light, very light tobacco-y note in it. But it always mixes well with that like fake grape note they get from like a grape soda, which I love. Uh, and especially coming off of these where they don't smell anywhere along this profile. You can really get that like potent grapeness out of it. I really, really like that. So I don't like coconut milk in my food. Coconut shrimp is a sin. I've never had coconut shrimp, but I like shrimp and I like coconuts. But then again, I like pineapple and I like pizza, and I've never mixed those. So, although I heard it's good. So, all right. So now I'm caught up. I'm gonna go ahead and go just head to head on these ones. I think this one is number one. I'm gonna compare these two for now and try to decide a victor between these two. Mm. What is everyone drinking tonight? I never saw all the whiskey drinkers. What are you guys drinking? Is it almost time for Hanging AZ to drink over there in Arizona, or is it still a little bit too early for you? All right, I'm gonna have to put this one in last place. Glass number 3 beat out glass number 1, just solely I think based on what my palate's feeling today. I think depending on the day, I might have reached for whatever was in that glass instead, just because there's such different notes. But if I was choosing between the two today, which I am, I'm gonna have to choose glass number 3 to be better than glass number 1. So then I'm gonna go ahead and get glass number 2 and 3, just to be sure that my winner is gonna be number 2. But I'm gonna go ahead and get these two on the nose here. Yeah, I'm thinking number 1 takes it. Or I mean number 2 takes it, but all right. So my order tonight is going to go 2, 3, 1 for winners here. I'll reveal what they are shortly. I think if I'm just gonna go ahead and throw my guesses out here. I think this is gonna be C921. I think this is gonna be A122. I think this is gonna be the store pick from the wine cellar and a peer. It'll be interesting to see which one's which. The only one that I think I'm confident on for sure is the C921 because I've drank that a lot and it's very different than these other two whiskeys. I could be completely wrong. I mean, taste is very subjective in whiskey and bourbon, so there's really no right or wrong answer with this. I just it depends on the day, really. So Haganese says, I am a pineapple pizza guy, or a pepperoni and jalapeno. So I did put pineapples in my chili once because I'd seen someone do it, and it wasn't. Well, I can say it wasn't horrible. Like it was more like a sweet chili because I added a little brown sugar and like pineapple to it, so it kind of had like a sweetness to it in general. But I'm sure it's the same as pizza, but I wasn't sure if I was feeling it. It was okay, but it wasn't like blow my socks off by any means. And as far as pepperoni and jalapeno, if I liked peppers or jalapenos, I'm sure that would be phenomenal because jalapenos are kind of savory like that. But still early for you. Have about an hour. Yeah, that's right. You're 2 hours behind me, I think, aren't you? So it's 7 o'clock here, which means I've been at it for almost an hour now. Sugar Kitty says he got a nice tall Franziskaner of Weiss beer. I watched a video. I watched because I've been drinking more beer, and I've been kind of wanting to get a little well versed on the lingo and the different kinds of beers. And I'm over here thinking that it's going to be easy. Like, bourbon, it's 51% corn, it's bourbon. Rye, it's 51% rye, it's rye. Scotch, it's made in Scotland. It's got to be made in Scotland. I think it's 100% barley, something like that. Makes it a Scotch. I don't know, but those all have definitive laws, and they're like there's only a couple different variations of it, Canadian, Irish, whatever. Like there's only a couple different variations. So I'm like, oh, well, I'll just do a little bit of research into beer. Well, if there's not freaking 500 different kinds of beers, I don't know what is. Between stouts, porters, IPAs, ales, imperials, then that's like a lot of American stuff, lagers like that, and then you got like Weiss beers or Doppelbocks or like just normal box or single bock, double bock, like all that kind of stuff, or like all the German beers, and then you go into like I don't know. It was like an hour-long video, and each segment was only like 10 or 15 seconds per beer, and it was just like a gazillion different kinds. It was so hard to keep track of or retain anything from that, but I have heard of Weiss beer, so there's that. At least I can remember how to say it. Love some good German beer. People can keep the IPA. Yeah, I'm not much of a hops guy, and or IPAs aren't really my style. I do like a lot more of stouts or porters or barrel aged like stouts and porters and stuff. But I had a roommate who ate all my food. If I got pineapple and ham, then it would always be safe. That's fair. I mean, people are afraid to be adventurous. I'm not. I'll try anything once. I like to think I'll try anything once. At one time in my life, I said I would try Malort once, and after having like 10 or 15 shots of it by now, I have to say I doesn't get any better. Um, but pineapple pizza, I think if I just sucked it up and tried it, I think I might not even be that bad. Um, but Schwarzbier, Ruchbach. Oh, okay. We're gonna try to pronounce these here. Schwarzbier, Ruchbier, Rochbier, um, Festbier. Oh yes, the Franzikaner. The Franzikaner beer is a wheat beer and is great in summer. Well, I think I actually got like some kind of put on the spectrum there, trying to read all of those, but I think I did okay. Um, yeah, so I actually had a Doppelbock the other day. I had gone to a brewery with my girlfriend or fiance. So I tried a Doppelbock, which I'm pretty sure it's German. But other than that, I haven't had an opportunity to drink a lot of German beer. I'm part German or whatever. Part of my ancestry is German, I think. So I'm sure I have pre-developed palate for German beer. But anyway, all right, we're gonna go ahead and reveal what the winners of tonight's blind are. In last place, we have C. Okay, that's surprising. Last place is C. That's actually the store pick uh, from the wine cellar in De Pere, which is really interesting to me because I really thought this was darker than that, or I thought that one was lighter, but I haven't had it a lot. It definitely still smells chocolatey. It still smells oaky. And now I'm questioning my life and myself. I'm very confused. Which, let's go ahead and figure out what these other two are. In second place is B, which is glass or bottle A122. Okay, so that one I got right. I mean that I guessed right. That makes glass number 2A, which is C921, which I said was my favorite, and I had previously said it was my favorite, and I said I drank it the most, and I guess I feel a little dumb now, but that's okay. Wow, okay, so the winner of tonight's blind is batch C921. Really, really, really good. Sweeter than I remember. More honey than I remember. A lot less dark than I remember. And then the store pick almost had less honey and more dark, chocolatey, peanutty on the nose, which is interesting. You know, it's always something to blind these and get like just a blind reaction. I mean, that's what it's called a blind for. But like honestly, just an honest opinion about what you're drinking, no influence by other people. Like as soon as I pull out C921, I get those initial notes that I got when I first opened the bottle, before I had a chance to breathe, before all that kind of stuff, and I have it in my head. So I'm consistently thinking dark notes, dark fruits, dark chocolatey peanut stuff. And so every time I've drank it since, and I have that in my head, and it's usually what I get pretty close to getting. While with the wine cellars, the guy, the owner or whoever picks the barrel picks over there, did tell me that it has a very honey note on it. So like I always get, like, whenever I was drinking it straight up, I forget what it's called, the effect when people tell you something, so then you start thinking about it, and then you automatically smell and taste it. But I was getting a lot of honey on it, but doing these blind, it just flip flopped on me. And I hope I have them in the right glasses here, but yeah, my opinion's not changing. Glass A, which is C921, is the best out of all these Logic Great Barrel proofs. All right, well, that was an interesting blind. So we're still talking about beer over here. Sugar Kitty says the Schwartz beer is a black beer, heavy roasted malts. The Rausch beer is smoked beer, not common, but if you see them, buy them up. Fest beer is the Oktoberfest, a sweet malt, and Doppelbock is even sweeter malt. Yes, I really liked the Doppelbock that I had. It was, I want to say, I don't. So a lot of the beers I do have are really heavy and really like thick. I mean, it's kind of like just something with stouts and porters that are like very potent. I think one of my favorite ones of all time actually uh, is aged in Buffalo Trace barrels from a local distillery or a local brewery, and it's 13% ABV. And I mean, if I drink the whole can, I get like almost buzzed because it's an entire pint of just 13% alcohol. But it's really, really good. It's really thick and really rich, and there's like a lot to it. Very, very heavy. But the Doppelbock that I had this past weekend, it was like nice and sweet and like refreshing. It wasn't too like bitter, like anything like that, which I liked. So, um, I'll have to look into those other German beers though, because that's something that I've been, like I said, getting interested in, and I am going to be doing a review of the beer I was just talking about. It's called Whiskey Business, and it's like I said, aged in Buffalo Trace. So I'm going to be doing that pretty soon. A review of that. So, um, yeah. So Sugar Kitty says Optimator is a great Doppelbock from Spaten. Syrupy strong malt, but very complex with a good pour. Okay. I'll have to keep that in mind when I go out searching. It's like I said, you know, um, it's really easy finding unique and like craft beers here in Wisconsin, but I've never actually looked at like the imported like stuff like that. I've only ever looked at like domestic, I think. Um, so I'd have to go searching for, stuff like German beers and all that kind of stuff to probably find what you're talking about. Um, you ever throw an orange slice in it? Doppelbocks are good fall beers. Okay. Nope, like it just the way it is. Well, all right, guys. I think it is about that time where I sign off. I'm going to do a little closing out here. So a little recap of the video. I did a blind of these three whiskeys, and out of all of them, between batch C921, A122, and my store pick from the wine cellar in De Pere, the number one went to batch C921. Second place went to batch A122, and last place, surprisingly, went to the wine cellar in De Pere. Now, would I buy all these whiskeys again? Yeah, they're phenomenal. If they weren't limited releases and one-time deals, I would scoop them up in a heartbeat and definitely buy them. Great bottles for the price. Obviously, ECBP, everyone knows they bat out of their league, but they're just great whiskey. Also, if you guys haven't yet, please hit the like button. I totally forgot to say that throughout the entire video, but yeah, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I should be getting there. I'm well on my way, over halfway there. So yeah, all right, guys. I think that's gonna be it. I believe the Bourbon Junkies are probably streaming later tonight, like they normally do on Tuesdays. If you guys are gonna be in that chat, I might see you in there if I go in the chat as well. So maybe I'll see you guys there. Other than that, you guys have a good rest of your night. Enjoy all your drinking of your German beers, and I'll see you guys in the next class.